Are you comparing two groups like male versus female, or intervention versus control group, or younger versus older, or any two groups from your data set for certain test scores, certain continuous variable, certain dependent variable, which is continuous dependent variable, and want to know if the difference is statistically significant. So in that case, let's dive into the independent sample t-test. So what's independent sample t-test? This independent sample t-test is used when you want to compare the mean value of or the means of two independent categorical groups on continuous outcome. So here always your dependent variable is continuous on continuous scale, and your independent variables are categorical. And independent sample t-test compares two groups like male and the female, intervention to control, younger and older, smokers and non-smokers, like that. Only two groups. Sometimes in your data there might be more than two groups, but you can fix that. Let's see some of the assumptions for independent sample t-test. One of the important assumption is independence. So the groups are independent of one another, like male and a female. Individual cannot be male and a female at any time, so like that, or clear intervention and control group, like younger and old age group, like that. So the group should be independent. There should not be any mixture in the groups. For example, if you are comparing TikTok users with YouTube users, sometimes there may be individuals who have TikTok and YouTube. That means they are independent of each other. So you have to be very sure with the group independence. And if your groups are related, there is another type of t-test. For example, you can compare before intervention, after intervention. That's dependent sample, not independent sample. Paired sample t-test may be appropriate. We will see that in another video. And the other is normality assumption. We have to always check for normality of the dependent variable on the independent groups. And if you are new to this video, please check our previous videos on normality checking. So we have to check whether our dependent variable, continuous variable, is normally distributed or not. If it's not normally distributed, you can't do the parametric test. And there is a non-parametric equivalent of independent sample t-test, monitoring U-test. We will see that later on. And the third assumption is homogeneity of variance. That's Levene's test for equality of variance. Independent sample t-test assumes the variances are equal between the groups. So one of the good things with SPSS is provides both the values if the variances are assumed and if the variances are not assumed. So we will check here for Levene's test of equality of variance, the p-values. If the p-values are greater than 0.05, that's homogeneity assumption or equality of variance or homogeneity assumption is satisfied, or homogeneity of variance assumption is satisfied. If the p-value is less than 0.05, the homogeneity of variance assumption failed. So we'll read the second row. If p-value is greater than 0.05, we will read the first row. Okay, let's now walk through how to run independent sample test in SPSS. Just click on Analyze, then Compare Means. Here there are several options. So we are focusing on just independent samples t-test. Click on it. Then bring your dependent continuous variable. In our case, dependent continuous variables are for ADHD, anxiety, self-esteem, depression. In your case, maybe you might have one dependent variable or two dependent variables. Let's bring just one, depression, for example. Let's bring depression, and the other is grouping variables. Your group variable, your independent variable, your categorical variable. In our case, we want to see it on gender. Then after, you click on define. In SPSS, the group should be defined. So in your data set, for example, male and female group like 1 and 2, write 1 and 2. Sometimes it might be 0 and 1. In that case, you have to write 0 and 1. Or in more than two groups. In more than two groups, you have to fix that. For example, sometimes you want to compare occupation, for example, not gender. You want to compare occupation, and your occupation might have, for example, 6 groups. For example, you want to compare group 1 with group 6. It's possible. So one of the important thing is you define the groups here. That's important part. If you are not sure, go and check the level. Unless it is right. For example, if you labeled gender as 0 and 1, and if you write here 1 0, it only puts value of 1. So this is important aspect. Continue. Yeah, just continue. We don't have a lot of things to touch. So let's see how to read and interpret the t-test. One is the group statistics. You will check the n, the mean, and the standard deviation. Usually these are the reportable. The other is you'll also report and check the Levene's test of homogeneity of variance or equal variance assumption. In our case, Levene's test of equality of variance suggests that the groups are homogeneous, or the variance between the groups are homogeneous. That's because the p-value is greater than 0.05. So we read the first row. Because of that, we read the first row. If this assumption fails, we read the second row, the bottom row. So let's see the t-test here. In the t-test group, you also check the two-tailed p-value here. If the p-value is less than 0.05, it means there is statistically significant mean difference between the group. Mean difference. The depression score between male and female is statistically significant. There is statistically significant difference between the groups. What's the mean difference? There is a difference of 0.624. And this 0.624 difference is statistically significant. Female has higher depression score compared to male on depression. So that is statistically significant. So the mean difference with standard error of the difference and 95% confidence interval. Finally, let's see how you can write a report from your SPSS output. This is a table that we have obtained, copied from here, these two tables. So here it includes the groups. Groups are here. I usually make tables like this. The groups, male and the female. Then the variable, the dependent variable here, the continuous variable. So in the report, there is mean, standard deviation, and the standard error. Sometimes you may see those only reporting mean and the standard deviation. In some areas, you will see also standard error is reported. The more you report, the more I think it's better for the readers. Or you to consume space, you can also write like this: mean the standard deviation in one column. That's also a possible option. So the t values, p value, mean difference, and then 5% confidence interval. And this is the narration about the hypothesis. Let's say this is your hypothesis 1. So you tested your hypothesis 1 with an independent sample t-test, and also Levene's test of equality of variance are important to report for the readers. This is all about independent sample t-test. If you enjoyed this video and want more contents like this, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends or groups who might find it helpful. Your support means a lot and helps me create more valuable videos just for you. Thank you.